So for IBM, I think from an approach point of view, they're probably the only vendor that's been sticking with the KPMG and Deloitte as the two audit partners globally for the past 15, 20 years, God knows how long. The vast majority, 90–95% of the audits are conducted globally by these two publishers, these two audit suppliers. So that's quite a unique thing for IBM. In terms of gotchas, very similar. I guess we'll talk about this a little bit on Oracle. It's about virtualization, licensing, whether you are licensing the virtual cores versus the physical cores. And IBM's term on this is subcapacity. And the gotcha here is you do need to have IBM's license metric tool installed as a default to track that. If you haven't got that tool installed to track CPU cores or PVU licensing, or you've got it up but not running properly, then you are liable for 10 times, 20 times of potentially 10 times, 20 times higher of the licensing. That's a big problem for IBM's. Compliance has been #1 driver for them over many years. I think the change over the past also 18–24 months is IBM has been increasingly thorough about how they treat RLMT. Back in the days, as long as you have RLMT, if some of the agents are broken, the VM managers are not talking about are working properly, it's okay. IBM will kind of let you off as long as you have installed it. Nowadays, it's very, very forensic driven. So even you have one single server that hasn't been configured properly, or the connection has been expired for a period of time, they will count that server on a physical full capacity liability basis. What that means is if you happen to have an expensive piece of software, which is most of IBM software in data centers like WebSphere or DB2, all of a sudden you're looking at one server's costing you 100,000, 200,000 more. So that's kind of the biggest thing we want to point out for. Now, there are some discussions around potentially having SAM tools replacing RLMT. There is one tool on the market, Flexera, that in some cases has got agreement with IBM to say that actually I can use Flexera to track subcapacity without RLMT. I just want to highlight this absolutely. It's a case-by-case basis, and it has to be negotiated and agreed contractually in written format. It's not like if you have installed Flexera, you get automatic permissions to have subcapacity. That's a bit of a industry myth, just using this opportunity to point out.